Houston church going. So the plan right now is that he's week on Thursday nights, and there's a local guy that there's a good chance that there's a local guy down there that's a good preacher, that's a good friend of ours. He's one of us, and every single week to make sure that the pulpit's filled down there every single week. So we're committed to keeping that church alive, and we want to find a pastor for that church as soon as possible. But that church is not going through in it for the long run. You know, is to take this over and everything like that. I think that's the most important thing right now. And if we get through that, you know, I can preach to you guys a little bit. But and on Sunday morning, the plan is to have a normal service on Sunday morning. So on Sunday morning, we're just going to sing hymns, and I'm going to get up and preach a normal sermon this Sunday morning. And we're just going to have business as usual Sunday morning church. And then the plan on Sunday night is to, you know, have Pastor Shelley come in, and he's going to preach a sermon. Have, again, normal church service. He preaches a sermon, and God willing, what I believe should happen is that he should be ordained as pastor this Sunday night so that we can just move forward, turn the page, put it behind us, and marching on. If you're shy about saying something publicly, I totally understand. That's what the phone number is for. Because, you know, some people are comfortable piping up in a public forum like this. Other people might have real concerns, questions, but they're just not comfortable piping up in the congregation, you know, or maybe ladies, you know, and you don't want to speak out in the church. But, you know, that's why I'm going to be at the restaurant tomorrow. That's why I'm going to be around town. That's why my phone number's here, so that I'm, you know, so we just want to make sure that everybody gets addressed. And, you know, you can't always please all the people all the time, obviously, but we want to try to satisfy people and not just, you know, that you feel like, I didn't, you know, I never got to say, or I... And he was there, he was qualified, he was ready, he stepped in, he's doing a good job. Okay, that's a good question. I'm glad, and you know what, I'm glad you asked, because, you know, I want people to ask what's on their mind, okay? So that's a good question that might be on other people's mind. His question is, you know, is there a guy at Steadfast that's qualified? You know, that it could be, instead of bringing in an outsider, that it could be someone that's here. Let me give you my thoughts on that, okay? My first thought is that given the situation, I actually think that it's better if an outsider comes in, and here's why I think that. Okay, because it's very hard to reverse the dynamic when, you know, when somebody's been your pastor, and now all of a sudden you're his pastor. You know, it reminds me of back when I was in Indiana. I had a guy created problems, and there were some problems, there were issues, and the work relationship didn't work out. Because of that, kind of like, it was just kind of weird that way. Okay. I'm not saying that it couldn't work. There are examples where it has worked. Grace and Fritz a great example of it working. But I personally think that it's better when an outsider comes in. Now, you know, the church that I came out of, Regency Baptist Church, was, I think, a year after Pastor Nichols had started. And he was an outsider that came in. And you got to have leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. The whole Bible, Moses, Joshua, the Judges, David, Solomon. I mean, you always, when things are going good for God's people, there's a strong leader at the helm. You know, and so you got to have a leader. You don't want a guy who's like a lame duck leader where he feels like, you know, everybody looks at him as just one of the guys. Now, look, and again, I don't want you to misunderstand me. I'm not saying that it can't work. Yeah, a guy can come, and, you know, basically everyone that I only asked a couple people, though, okay? And from the 3 people that I talked to, they all told me the exact same thing. They said that Philip Milstead is a great guy. He's pastor material. He's going to pastor someday probably, but they didn't feel that he was ready at this time. And this is kind of a difficult situation, so, you know, we need somebody to come in and look. I'm not against Brother Philip Milstead. I like him. I know him a little bit, and I haven't heard anything negative about him in my life. I like him. He's a great guy. But what I'm hearing, and you guys know him better than I do, what I'm hearing is that he's a great guy. He'll probably be a pastor someday, but the timing is off.
Yeah, my apologies for coming in a little late.
No problem.
What I've heard when I came in is that Pastor Jonathan Shelley is going to take over the church. So
Yes.
he's running Pure Words Baptist Church. So as an outsider, is he going to pastor both churches?
No, this is going to be his church. I'm not going to repeat everything because we kind of already went through this before you got here. So just to kind of bring you up to speed real quick, he's moving up here. He's pastoring this church. We're going to keep the other church going. And you know, I actually first met Pastor Shelley here, believe it or not. The first time I ever met Jonathan Shelley was at a soul winning marathon for the anniversary. I think I've seen churches go without a pastor for like a year with no pastor, 18 months with no pastor, and the church just goes like this. You know, even if the pulpit's being filled, even if people are preaching and they're cycling guys through, I'm telling you, it tanks. And then when a new pastor gets in, then it's like, you know, you gotta have that leadership. It's just really important. It's critical. Yeah, this is all good questions, good comments. Anything else? Just want to make sure everybody's satisfied. Yes.
Are we keeping the name?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the name it should definitely stay. I mean, yeah. It's the name. It's the name. You know, I mean, it's just. It'd be like it'd almost be like asking me to change my name. So I mean, it's still steadfast. Still, it's the same people that it was last week. You know, right?
Like to say as a new member, I'm thankful for the integrity of our church, because if this was to happen, say, with the old IFB church, some things could have been swept under the rug, it could have been dragged out, but our leadership stood up to the plate, pastor stood up to the plate, everything's coming together smoothly, and we're proving our name. I mean,
Amen.
We're following the Bible, we're gonna pull through. So.
Yeah, great comment. I mean, if we were the old IFB, it would just be like we would just be like business as usual, just